Before I get into a series of videos breaking down what happened at Congresswoman Maxine Dexter's town hall today, I want to say something about the Democratic Party in Congress and Democratic leadership in general. I make no secret of the fact that I self-identify as a leftist because I am a staunch anti-capitalist. I dream of a post-capitalist America. But I am also a registered Democrat because I understand the fact that we have a two-party system and I pretty much universally have to engage in harm reduction voting. Except sometimes here in Portland, there are people who are a Working Families Party or DSA who have platforms that I strongly agree with, and then I'm thrilled to get to vote for them. So I understand what Democrats are. I understand that they're a known quantity. I understand that our politics on both sides, right? Both parties is run by dark money, by foreign money, by corporate interest. The super rich control our politics. We have Citizens United to thank for that. We have Reaganomics to thank for that. We live in an oligarchy, and I think a lot of us didn't really want to examine that too hard. We felt the consequences of it, right? Like our quality of life, not super hot. The reason that so many working class people voted for Donald Trump is because he recognized, or somebody on his team recognized, that the working class, especially in rural America, was struggling, that their quality of life was worse than their parents', that the American dream felt inaccessible to them. And he gave them this little slogan, I'm going to make America great again. I am going to return you to an era of prosperity. When people are struggling, reactionary politics are very appealing. They're very seductive. Y'all understand, for all of the racism and misogyny and transphobia on the right, Donald Trump just harnessed and stoked those. The Heritage Foundation just harnessed and stoked those to better activate and reach a section of America that is experiencing the same kind of hardship and frustration and exploitation that you and I are. If we had a functional government that was serving the needs of the people, if we had a government that actually ensured domestic tranquility, actually promoted the general welfare, and actually secured the blessings of liberty for us, the American people, nothing that Donald Trump tried would have worked. It is because we have a government where both parties have consistently been failing the people. And the super rich have been consolidating their power and accumulating the wealth of this nation up here, and then it never comes back down to us. Our blood, sweat, tears, our life hours, our taxes, our money goes up to these guys, and it never comes back down. We are squeezed harder and harder. Things are worse and worse for us. And that reality gave Donald Trump the ability to come in and pander to the working class, to exploit them, to stoke their racism. Because they were discontent. They are discontent. They are angry. They are oppressed in the same way that you and I are. Working class solidarity, y'all, is not some like abstract concept. We all have a shared oppressor. It's just that MAGA voted for their oppressor. Right? I used to be quite conservative. I used to be a Presbyterian church in America. I was raised in a Republican family. So now that I'm way over here on the left, when I hear Republicans saying things like Democrats are super corrupt, I can't trust Democrats, when I hear them saying things like drain the swamp, when I hear them saying, well, how come Nancy Pelosi doesn't bar Congress from buying stocks? Because she's enriching herself off of that practice. When I hear Republicans saying that Democrats are corrupt and bought and paid for by corporate, foreign interest, dark money, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. It's just that they seem to think that Republicans aren't also bought and paid for, that Republicans aren't even worse than Democrats, because there are plenty of Democrats who don't take that kind of money. I repeatedly point to my Senator Jeff Merkley. He doesn't take a dime from AIPAC. We have elected officials in the Democratic Party who earnestly want to serve their constituents, who are public servants, who are committed to representing the constituents in their state or their district. They exist. But the leadership of the Democratic Party, and I know people like, when Ken Martin got elected to run the DNC, originally I was like, ooh, okay, this might be good, especially because Nancy Pelosi and Hakeem Jeffries didn't want him. And I looked at a little bit of what he'd done in Minnesota, but then very quickly he came out with this, like, we need to find the good billionaires. And I was like, oh shit, is this more neoliberal, Ezra Klein-esque shit? Is that what's happening here? The fact that we have this position from Democratic leadership of like, oh yeah, no, it's still good if we have a bunch of dark money. It's still good. There are sources of like tremendous wealth that can still drive our politics, and we're okay with that. I'm like, no, this is the wrong answer. I was so pleased today at Maxine Dexter's town hall to hear her talking about how we need to tax the rich. We should not have billionaires. that there is more than enough wealth to go around in this country. She was saying a lot of things that I was like, oh, this is refreshing. And there are plenty of folks in the House Progressive Caucus who do have a position of we need to tax the rich. We need to overturn Citizens United. Americans deserve universal health care. Like, health care is a human right. The working class is being exploited. Like, we do see some of that rhetoric. And I think people in Congress who earnestly believe that. But then you look at the wealth driving Senate Democratic leadership. You look at the fact that Chuck Schumer, well, also Hakeem Jeffries in the House, right? But especially Chuck Schumer has a history of catering to his wealthy donors instead of his constituents, to the detriment of us, the American people, of us, the working class. When you look at senators from California taking money from big crypto to get reelected, and then you see them voting for the crypto bill, which is horrible. It was horrible. It benefited Donald Trump. It was incredibly corrupt. Elizabeth Warren was speaking out against it. It was doing Donald Trump a favor, and we had elected officials who took big crypto who voted for it, even though they're Democrats. Like, it just makes it so clear that corporate interest, big money, still has bought our politicians. And it's so frustrating right now. I just put out a video about the shutdown offer that Chuck Schumer made yesterday, and how it was like, well, my suspicion, without any evidence to back it up, is that Chuck is once again listening to the wealthy folks in his ear who are like, no, we got to reopen the government because it's going to be the holiday season, holiday travel. We can't have the TSA shut down. We can't have all of the airports struggling, right? We have billions and billions and billions of dollars in corporate welfare. Our taxpayer dollars go to bail out airlines like all the fucking time. The airline lobby is very big and powerful, and they don't want this government shutdown going on. And the businesses that want you to travel there for the holidays and spend your money there, they don't want this shutdown going on. And their motivation is money. It's not American democracy. One of my favorite things to remind people is that corporations are not moral entities. In fact, they often have it in their bylaws that they must prioritize profit for the shareholder above all. And for me, as somebody who often has to hold my nose and vote for Democrats, as somebody who has tremendous disdain for neoliberals, I don't think you can do a good capitalism. You can't do a moral capitalism. Capitalism will always exploit people and the planet. You can have commerce. You can't have what we have now. We have to overturn Citizens United. Have to tax the rich. That's why I wear guillotine earrings. That's why I knitted a fucking vest that says tax the rich on the back in big letters. There's more than enough wealth to go around in this country. Nobody should have a reduced quality of life. We could end homelessness. We could end poverty immediately. So to see the fact that we have Democratic leadership that still seems to have split priorities about whether they really care about protecting democracy, whether they are really ready to make the kinds of sacrifices that we are all making on a daily basis in order to defend our liberty, or whether they are deluding themselves that this is politics as usual because they're beholden to their corporate interest. It's so frustrating. I know Ezra from Indivisible has talked repeatedly about how we need a united opposition party of no. And it's heartbreaking to see that we are not getting that from Democrats. We cannot expect Democrats to save us, but it's so exhausting to live in a country where we have to drag our elected leadership kicking and screaming. We have to spend so much energy holding their feet to the fire and knowing that they will disappoint us over and over. It shouldn't be that way. When we look at other countries who've dealt with issues like this, they have had a united opposition party. Countries who haven't been able to get their shit together and form that united opposition party have a much more difficult road when it comes to defeating fascism. But like, look at Korea and how quickly they shut down their coup. Yeah, it's because all of the opposition folks jumped to it. And it's heartbreaking to feel that we have elected leadership that we're not even sure if they're on our side. We're not even sure if they actually are allies in the fight for democracy. I firmly think that Democrats have to clean house. They have to establish themselves as an anti-corruption party for the future of our democracy, for the welfare of the American people. And if they fucking want to win elections, you can't have a party that says, hey, American people, we're working for you, and then have them clearly demonstrate over and over, their leadership clearly demonstrate over and over, that actually they're working for corporations. It's just so disheartening to see this right now, at a moment when we need leadership that is fighting for us, that is fighting for the Constitution, that is fighting for our lives. And they can't be trusted. They can't be trusted. We can pick and choose individual elected officials who are doing the right thing, who are meeting the moment. Tons of them, Yasmin Ansari, Maxwell Frost, AOC, Melanie Stansbury, a lot of them are fighting. Pramila Jayapal. And for me, I'm so sorry that we have to do this additional labor. But I think a big part of the way out of this is going to come with primarying folks, is going to come with us being extremely involved in the primaries. Because right now, yeah, it's not good.